Good morning. Well, that's very gentle this morning, the music. It's very zen, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, wake up. This is Petrie here with you through until 1 o'clock this morning. It is Thursday, the 10th of August. And we normally do... Well, this is a phone-in, right? It's still a phone-in, but what we've done is we've got you an expert in the studio, like we did last week, and like we will next week. So, but tonight, or this morning, we want to talk about nutrition and how nutrition affects your life. Are you trying to get pregnant? Are you trying to lose weight? Do you have problems with thinning hair? Do you have any of those things that you think might be a nutritional issue? What about your diet? Is it good enough, do you think? Do you take any supplements? Are you thinking of taking any supplements? And I will caveat that by saying you must always talk to a GP. Even if you think, oh, I'm just taking vitamin XYZ, if you're on drugs, you do need to talk to just to get it cleared, just to get that little tick in the box. And they say, yeah, it's fine. That would always be my advice to you. But do you have any issues with nutrition? Do you want to talk about the latest fad diet? Do you want to talk, how do these things work? That's what we want to know. And well, joining me in the studio is the wonderful Monica Price. She's here now, pretty in pink this morning.
Petrie, how are you? Good morning. It's a very nice, calm, zenny morning this morning.
It was very. Normally the music's a bit raunchy, to be fair, but it was very calm this morning.
Good morning.
Nutrition. It's a really big issue at the moment,
It is.
And I don't know about you, but I get incredibly bored by reading. You know, one day. This is good for you, and a week later, oh no, don't do that.
Yes.
You know, eat bananas. No, don't eat bananas. Eat eggs. No, don't eat eggs. Oh, eat eggs again. Oh, okay. So there is a lot of confusion about it. Is that because it's ever evolving, or is that because people are just stupid, or they have different ideas on it?
Well, there is an element that is ever evolving. It's like anything, you know, nutrition, health is. There's always some new fad diets coming out, and they always say, "Oh yes, have this. This is really good." There's always a new superfood. But I think what it is. I think people now, especially after COVID, we looked at our health more, and because of that, people are now more interested in their health, and they're realising that actually the health is the most important commodity that they can look after. So they're trying their very best to do as much as they possibly can, not necessarily taking supplements, but trying to get things from their diet, perhaps changing their diet. And I think as well, we've got diabetes, you know, our rising rates of diabetes. Petrie is just phenomenal, and we've got obesity climbing again. We've got children now that are overweight and obese.
And obesity is malnutrition.
It is, absolutely.
And it's now being recognised as such.
Absolutely, yes. I was talking about that actually just a couple of weeks ago, talking about how, you know, we in the UK have got, you know, so many people who are malnourished, and you always associate, you know, malnutrition with very, very skinny people, and sort of third world countries that don't have all that we have. So it's really interesting, and I think I find, for me, I think the younger are taking more of note of their health now, you know, going to the gym, looking at what they're eating, and because of that, though, there's a downside of that, in my opinion, as a nutritionist, because you've got companies like supplement companies who are just bombarding us now with, oh, have this is this, and then next week it'll be something completely different. And so there's a contraindication. And just as you quite rightly said, if you're on any kind of medication, there's always a possibility that any supplement can contraindicate with your medication that you're on. So it's really important that you don't just start
anything that you're sort of you're swallowing. If you're taking it, it can have an effect on everything. So you must always check with that. I mean, I think you and I spoke a couple of weeks ago about scurvy and rickets.
Yes, that's right.
As well.
We did. Yes,
these diseases that you associate, one with vitamin C and one's vitamin D.
Yes.
It is the idea that this is a Victorian diseases, but they are coming back, and they're really quite serious.
They are, and I mean, this is incredible, really. I mean, vitamin D and vitamin C have kind of been in the highlight in the last sort of few months, and I think that vitamin D in particular, and I know that you take vitamin D, you know, it's a really important vitamin to have. You know, it helps us absorb the calcium, and the reason why we're not getting so much of it, particularly our children, because they're just sitting on, you know, playing on their games, they're not going outside, you know, and we don't let our kids go outside anymore without, you know, parents looking where they're going, and there's an element of that as well. And I feel for parents, because if I was a parent of a young child now, it'd be so difficult. But then when I was young, I was just sent out and come back at tea time.
Feral.
Exactly.
Feral. That's exactly what it was. Don't come back until tea time.
Exactly. Come back when you're hungry, and that's
exactly.
it. You know.
So give us a call. Monica's here for you. If you've got any nutritional questions, the number that you need is 0344 499 1000, or you can send us a message. We'd much rather talk to you, but you can send a message if you put the word talk up front and then your message to 87222. We have Emma on the line, Monica, who is from Cambridge this morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Emma.
Good morning, Emma.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on. So I've been asked to give you a question. I've got lots of thoughts behind it, but it is, why are we not teaching proper nutrition and just cooking in schools?
Oh, very good question. I've been asking that question myself, Emma. In fact, I stand on my soapbox and talk about it all the time.
It seems to be the answer to obesity, to the NHS problems. Just teach our kids to cook from scratch good, nutritious food.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our government doesn't seem to think that there's much importance placed on that in our schools at the moment. We'd rather, medicate to try and get rid of our obesity problem. Whereas if we put all of that money, £40 million, for example, is going into a programme to look at, weight loss with a pill, with these pills. Why not spend that 40 million and give that to schools and try and educate? Because cooking is a life skill. Once you have that skill, that stays with you for the whole of your life. And I don't care whether you like to cook or not, but you've got those fundamental basics. So absolutely, I feel that's contributing.
I sort of put together Vanessa Feltz's program earlier about using leftover bread to make old school meals.
Yes.
Old sort of, and then there was another discussion later about obesity, and it was like, it's so simple. Just use leftovers. Just take a tin of. I was unwell a few days ago. My 13 and 14-year-olds were downstairs and were like, "What's for lunch, Mum?" And I was like, "I'm not sure. I'll come down in a minute."
Yes.
And then I found them they were making garlic bread. They were doing tomato soup from scratch. They went through the cupboards. They made themselves carbonara. They're two teenage boys. They eat all the time. They're slim and they're healthy, but they just eat.
Yeah.
But they just, they do things like my son was like, "Mum, can we get a chicken? Stick it in the oven. Yeah, we could." And then you make stock from the bones, and then you've got soup afterwards. It's not difficult, and it doesn't take time.
No, it isn't difficult, but you sound like a parent that's obviously taught your children how to cook and taught them about the food. But unfortunately, we've now got 3 generations of people that just don't cook, and that's the problem. Because if you don't know, I work with
ready
parents.
meals and burgers and things are so cheap.
Ready meals
relatively.
are so cheap, exactly.
Well,
and
it's not cheap though, because my son went down. He was like, I found him peeling, he's 14, he was peeling at some apples.
Yes.
You've got, sugar, butter, flour, make an apple crumble, job done.
Yes. Well, that's it. I think it's,
a pound?
Yes. I always say, to eat from scratch it's always going to be cheaper. But I think people are tempted by these £1 meals and the £1.50 meals. The busy lifestyles, they feel, this is an easier option. It isn't an easier option. And I totally agree with you. We have to get that cooking back into our schools. And I think it's a great shame because we're fighting fire with our obesity issue and in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think we need to really just take a step back and understand that what we did before was actually really good. We didn't have obesity.
I remember my mum. I don't remember ever have it. I mean, I'm 48 now, but I don't remember ever eating ready meals when I was a kid.
No, well, I didn't at all. They weren't available, really.
We had the odd Findus crispy pancake.
Oh, yes, and Findus fish finger.
Expensive.
Yes, yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. And I think well done for you for, for
and
being a good
you're
parent.
not foisting two useless boys on the world
exactly.
as well. She's absolutely brilliant. I like that as well. Good to talk to you, Emma. Yeah, I taught my son how to cook.
I did mine.
But clearly not to use a washing machine, because he rang me. He rang me the other day and I didn't pick up the call, and so then he because I was busy, I was doing something else, I didn't see it. Yeah. And then I looked at my text and he said, "Don't worry, Mum, it was just a question about washing. The answer is no, you can't use conditioner as detergent." So he'd clearly done all his washing just using some conditioner. And then went, oh no, that doesn't work.
But at least you did the cooking bit. You got the cooking bits. You can't just pat yourself on the back for that bit.
Yeah, but I mean, useless.
Yes, I know.
Listen, give us a call. Do you have a question you'd like to ask about nutrition, about taking vitamins, about your kids' eating habits, about your own eating habits? And what about those pesky 10,000 steps a day? All a lie. You don't need to do 10,000 steps a day, so we'll discuss that in a little while as well. But let's now speak to Vicky, who's in Manchester. Vicky, good morning.
Hi, good morning. You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, not bad. So I look after, I'm a home carer.
Right.
So I look after a lot of elderly people who cannot cook a meal from scratch. Haven't got the time to cook a meal from scratch, haven't got the carers' time to cook a meal from scratch. So we're often working with ready meals, and to be honest, I don't see the problem with them. They've got the vegetables, they've got the mash, they've got the meat, they've got the total nutritional values in their meals, from what I see from the packets anyway, that they need. And they're not walking 10,000 steps a day. They barely, some of them will barely walk. Yeah, it's same with me.
The thing is, I guess, Vicky, and you'll be able to tell me this. It's more to do with the salt and the sugar that they put in these things rather than the other things.
It is, yeah. Good morning, Vicky. It's wonderful what you're doing, by the way, at home care. That's a wonderful thing. Well done, you. And it is really difficult. My mum was before she went into a home. She was 80, just over 80, 82. I think she went into a home, and she was cooking up to that point. And then the moment you either go into a nursing home or you have a carer, it's difficult. And like you said, Vicky, it's very difficult for them to have even the inclination to want to do it because they just don't want to do it. They've been doing it all their lives, or they just don't want to. But the problem is with the ready meals is that yes, they'll have the nutrients, they'll have the the meat and 2 veg, but they'll have the preservatives in them to make them last longer. So they're often full of fat, sugar and salt. So it's about quality there. I would say to you, just look for the quality of the meal that you're having. If you're going to pay £1 for a meal, then you need to look at the nutritional label on the back of the packet. You need to have, a really good quality from a reputable company, to have a high quality, preferably organic if you can, or nothing with too many preservatives in, because all those meals will have fat, sugar and salt in, because that's the nature of them.
And that's why they're so delicious.
They're highly processed, and they taste really good because there's lots of salt. So, it's what. So I would say if they're having that, that's fine. But what about introducing something like fresh fruit? And you can always do, a dessert.
Because obviously, if you've only got 15 minutes to go to visit,
a very good point. It's really, really, it is.
You've only got a 10-minute.
Absolutely.
In a microwave.
I would agree with you there. And things like
in the fridge, then I would offer that as a dessert.
Yes, that's right. I mean, good old things like jelly. Jelly's a really good, good thing to have. Put some fruit in the jelly. You can chop a banana.
I suppose the point is we're sort of working with what we've got.
Yes.
We're just trying to work in this economy and this everything.
Yes.
We just, regardless of the salt, fat, sugar content, we're all trying to eat and survive and
it's
just
really
live, aren't we? And it's not necessarily healthy for us, but that's how it is, isn't it?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it is complicated, and I think we are, you are looking to cut corners, and maybe with food you think, well, look, I can get those, chips that go in the oven and that'll feed us, or rather than getting potatoes that might go off or whatever.
I think if you can prepare some things, Becky, do you come to the lady or man every day? Is somebody you look after every day?
I can go to various people.
Oh, right.
Day,
okay. Yeah,
so I can't say that I'm going to
so I was going to say one good thing to do would be to prepare lots of fruit and vegetables and put it into the fridge or put it in their freezer. Then that way you've got something there ready, and then you can just put that, in the microwave. But at least you've got fresh vegetables and fresh fruit and things like that, rather than just totally rely on the the ready meals. Ready meals are really difficult. I was talking about this a while ago, actually, and especially now the winter's coming, talking about how, the elderly will have their diets will just change, drastically, particularly if they go into care. And, it depends on where they are and how good the home is and, what the cook is like in the home. But if you can, the best thing you can do, and anybody else that's watching and thinking, I do this, is try to prepare some fresh food and put it in their fridges and put it in their freezers, because it doesn't take long. You can get that going in a microwave. I don't have a microwave. I'm not a massive
client. The families prepare the meals and put them in freezers.
No, that's right. The thing, isn't it? They're provided by other people.
Yeah.
Carol, thank you. Vicky, sorry, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now, give us a call, because Monica's here for you. So the number you need, 0344 499 1000. Any questions that you might have on nutrition. We're going to take a very quick break here, but we're back in just a moment. Hi, good morning to you. It's Petrie here with you through until 1 o'clock this morning. And this morning, a special treat for you. Got Monica Price here, who's a nutritionist and a broadcaster, and she's here to answer your questions. So do send them in or call in 0344 499 1000. If you're flicking through the channels and you've gone, who's that? This is the only live and interactive TV show anywhere at the moment. So just pick up the phone, give us a call if you're worried about losing your hair, if you're worried about putting on weight, if you're worried about not putting on weight, if you're worried about any of those nutritionist things, give us a call and Monica will have an answer for you. Now, Monica, I've got a text here. It says, I started taking vitamin D over 3 years ago, and it's been like a magic bullet. It's lifted, it's good for burstis, fatigue and brain fog, all under control. And Andrew goes on to say, I've also stumbled on fasting, which has been a godsend. So that's Andrew from Salisbury. Now, fasting is this big thing at the moment. And
yeah,
I've read various reports that say it makes absolutely no difference at all, or it's really bad for you, or anecdotally people saying it's great. Where are we with fasting?
It really depends on you and your metabolism. Fasting can work really well for some people, and it can. There's no getting away from it, but it doesn't work for everyone. I've had people that have come to me, Petrie, and they're just on their knees because they've thought they're going on this fantastic fasting diet and it's going to make them feel amazing. It's going to strip them of all the toxins. They've almost passed out every day. And now, if you're on any kind of diet, and particularly fasting, because you're just not eating, you're juicing really. If that's not making you feel good, whatever it is you're on, then I always say as a nutritionist, stop it, because it's your body's way of saying, actually, I don't like what you're doing to me at the moment. Now with fasting in particular, you are really just stripping everything out. You stop eating. Now you can do that for a little while as long as you're drinking.
So it's normally 16-8, isn't it? Or something like that.
That's right.
So you would fast for 16?
Fast for 16, and then what you do, then you start eating, and then there's different variations of that. So some people just do it for a few days, and then they go back to eating. So there's an element of it that we actually fast without even realising it.
Well, we're asleep.
Yeah. We do, absolutely. And if you've had a really busy day, or just some days, I have those days. I mean, I eat really well, obviously, it's what I do. But there are days when I think, actually, I just don't fancy eating today. So I'm fasting without even realising I'm doing it. So it's good to have that, my body can take that. But if I start doing that, for me personally, I feel really sick. I have to eat. So, that's just the way that my makeup is and my metabolism is. So I would say to somebody who's thinking about fasting, read about it and make sure that you've got things in the house that you're going to need, because if you're going to do it properly, then you need to make sure that you've got your soups and your juices and drink water, of course. But again, people just do it thinking, it's going to be a wonderful thing.
And also, if you've got any underlying medical conditions, again, speak to your GP before you take any steps like that. What about, this is really popular at the moment, is being a carnivore.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's keto, which is mostly protein.
It's protein, so
but
80%.
That's all protein.
It is. 80% of your diet would be protein, about 20% carbs.
Carbs.
Yeah.
And that's all protein. So that's vegetables as well, and
everything.
Avocados and things like that. But there are a certain number of people who've gone a stage further and they eat only meat.
Yes.
Or eggs. Eggs and meat. And the argument for that is they get all the necessary vitamins from the meat they're eating because the meat has eaten grass.
The grass, yes.
Does that work?
No, I would disagree with that one. You have to be very careful with the carnivore diet because, the British Heart Foundation, for instance, we know that if you eat too much, you absolutely should eat meat, but it's not good for your cholesterol. It's not good for your heart to eat a lot of red meat. So it's that good old-fashioned saying, eat in moderation.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any really one diet that we do. All these diets have just come about, in the past maybe 20 years. These diets weren't even around. So the thing is to remember is that everybody's body is individual. So what's good for me won't be good for you, won't be good for any of your producers tonight. So I think that's really important, and particularly with the carnivore diet, because it's just purely meat.
It's extraordinary.
You have to be really careful because you're not actually meant to eat. You're meant to a limited amount of greens and things, but that's not how our bodies are designed to be. Our bodies are designed to have a little bit of everything from the food groups, because those food groups contain all of the nutrients that we need. So that's why I always say about supplements, err on the side of caution. I do, give supplements to clients that come to me, but only if I feel that their body's lacking in something and they just need an extra boost. But it's not good to be long term on any kind of supplement unless your doctor has directed you to do so.
That.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting, isn't it? They say that the healthiest we've ever been in terms of eating was during the rationing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Because there were
lots
of green vegetables because they were easy to grow.
Yes.
There was a little bit of meat, probably not quite enough meat, but there was a little bit of butter, hardly any sugar, all of those things. That was a very, very healthy diet.
It was, and I think the other thing we've got...
It was all in moderation.
It was all in moderation. Our portions have got completely out of control.
I was going to talk to you about that, because portion control is crazy.
It is. I mean, we really have got everything that happens in America happens in the UK about 10 years after. But and now if you go to anybody that's been to America, you could have a starter in America and that will feed 4 of us. It's huge. Everything over there is massive. We are now getting the same. Our plates have got huge. Our bowls have become huge. Our wine glasses have become huge.
I don't mind that.
Okay, fine. But everything is become too big. So whereas you're seeing a plate of... If I was to put something on your plate that perhaps was served in the 50s, 60s, everyone would go, well, send that back.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for that. Whereas now our portions are so big, and unfortunately we're eating them. And what we're doing as well is that we're doing that to children. We're kind of force feeding our children, and that's not on purpose. Parents have got this innate need to feed their children,
and we just feel that the more that they, the better.
Yes, they're going to be better.
I mean, you're absolutely right about American food. When I was last there, I remember going for a takeaway, and I asked for doggy bags, and their doggy bags fed me for 3 days.
Yeah. Exactly. It says it all, really. But the thing about portions is what you need to do. I was taught this when I was by my professor when I was at university. Cup your hand. So if you're watching now, cup your hand. That is your portion. That's it. So a portion of vegetables.
What if you've got massive hands?
Well, that's it. That's your portion. That's exactly that. And can you imagine a child's
of all food?
No, of anything. So portion of meat, portion of fruit, portion of veg, portion of pasta. Whatever you're having,
right, okay.
That's your portion. So that's what. Now, fruit and vegetables, we can eat lots of those, but it's the fats. It's the proteins, it's the dairies, it's the fat, sugar, and salt. It's the nice things that we like. The donuts, the cakes, the biscuits, and what we're doing with our children is we're making them have adult. Well, we're not making them have, but we're serving them adult portions. If you look at their tiny little hands, it's only one floret of broccoli that, say, a 5-year-old could have, and yet I see plates, 4 florets of broccoli on a plate. They can't possibly eat all that. Their tummies are too small. So what we're doing, we're encouraging overeating before they've even reached an age where like teenagers where they need to eat double the calories that they have. So and again that goes back to education. It goes back to having the education in schools to have this understanding about portion sizes and where we are.
Now, apparently you can get a portion plate that tells you how much you should have of
That's
everything.
Very boring, though, Mitch.
It's so boring. I can't be bothered with that.
Even I can't be bothered with that.
Let's go back to the phones. And Carol is in Manchester. We've got quite a few calls in Manchester this morning. Carol, good morning.
Good morning. Absolutely love the discussion. Fantastic, really is. Totally agree with both of you ladies how you spoke about everything. Totally agree with it. The only thing is that what we really do need to look upon as well is finance. Definitely fresh vegetables, everything that you've said or whatever, but it's even coming down to not only the fresh vegetable, is how we cook it. So we're cooking, we're not cooking in the oven anymore, so we can't do that home baking that we used to do years ago, which I'm 62. I remember me nan doing all the old stuff, the cottage pies.
I love a cottage pie.
Me too.
Proper baked potatoes, the meat, even the meat that I didn't like, the tongue and the liver, and oh God, disgusting. All that,
oxtail.
Everything.
Yes.
Oxtail.
Yeah, that's right.
I loved it. Beetroot soup, fantastic. Yeah. Potato hash, loved it. What it is
Potato
now,
what?
Potato hash, did you say?
Potato hash with corned beef. Corned beef, it had to have corned beef with it. Love it with the corned beef and that. And all that is absolutely baking our own bread and everything. Taught all my lot. They haven't got the time to do it. And I know it's so sad. It really is. Yeah. I've got my grandchildren who's saying about the treats and things like that. Thank God that they still have the treats with the cucumber, bit of chocolate, cucumber, bit more chocolate, a crisp, a bit more fruit and whatever, with it. And we can teach it that way. But at the moment, we've got to look at it realistically, is that people cannot afford. I just said when I rang, I've even had from a reputable supermarket a chicken curry, masala chicken curry. It cost me £1.50. £1.50. That's all it cost. Gorgeous. I know what he means. I know what you mean and whatever in that. Yeah. But even your vitamins, they're so expensive. They are so expensive. We're not talking about the expense at the moment. We need to look upon that as well.
Oh, vitamins are prohibitively expensive, particularly if you get particular designer brands.
Exactly.
I mean, they are ridiculous.
I mean, vitamin D, you can spend, £2. Yeah. And then you could, a celebrity might endorse something, and then there'd be £25 for exactly the same thing.
But it's still exactly the same. And like you said, with the brands and everything like that. I mean, I'm lucky enough because of my condition. I have B12 and I have the vitamin D.
Right.
And it is, B12 is an iffy thing. It really is an iffy thing. You lose your hair, you do everything.
Is it? May I ask? Are you lacking B12? Is that why they've given?
I've had B12 now for the last 8 years, on and off. And by God, when I come off it, I feel like I'm on the floor.
Can I ask, were you a vegan or a vegetarian or?
Oh, no. But I'll be honest, I'm just listening to you. I've been one of those that never have breakfast.
Right.
Don't have in afternoon. I eat at night, which is not good, and I've been like that since I was probably 13.
Do you know so many people that come to me and they think they're eating healthily, but actually, do you know, they're not eating enough.
No.
They don't eat enough food.
And if your body goes into starvation, it holds on to the fat.
It. Exactly that. And B12 is a really, really important nutrient for you to have. You know, it's a really important vitamin because it works with their DNA, it works with their blood. You know, it's absolutely, it can make you feel so tired. I mean, really, really fatigued if you lack vitamin.
I've been so
B12.
bad over the last few years, and you're talking about diet again.
Yeah.
Here it comes again with expense. Funny enough, that's why I can't believe, like tonight, that you're speaking about it. I've just spoken to two of my children, and I just want to go for a swim because I put on, since pandemic, I put on nearly 3 stone, which is a hell of a lot for me. So, and I'm tired. I feel like I can't get off the city sometimes. It could be, you know, it could be a lot of things. I've got a fantastic doctor that's going through everything.
Yes.
But to go for a swim or to go for, even over 60s, to go for anything. My son, who's a student, he gets a hell of a lot cheaper, God bless him, thank God. But at the end of the day, is anybody probably going up, because I'm worried about diabetes and everything. I keep checking and everything to make sure, and I know that I've got to try and do something in that. But I don't want to go to just a gym, like pure gym. I'm sorry if I said anything. But, you know, like anything like that, I want to just go for a swim. Now, to go for an ordinary swim, it's going to cost me, in my area, over £6, right?
Crazy,
just for a swim.
It used to be £2.
Out of the hours and everything. But if I go to, say, like another area where they've got a little bit of a gym and a swimming and a sauna and whatever, it's going to cost me £55, and I have to sign up for 12 months, and that's in Manchester. So God knows how much it's going to cost you, you know, like in the southern, you know, like with it. So everything down at the moment when they're talking about to help health.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no financially.
It's too expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. Unless, I mean, the only thing you can do that's free, of course, is just have a walk.
I was going to say,
you've got a lot of people who may be carrying weight.
It's difficult.
They can't do it.
It is. It's difficult.
Yeah.
I think you know. I think you're very brave to you know to talk to us about it and to you know to realise. I think you've taken a first step, even perhaps without you realising, because you're actually wanting to do something about it. And that's really important.
It makes your life. It does. And if anybody else is out there, don't be embarrassed with it. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not. If I know that it's gone too far, you need to do something. So ask your family, ask your doctor, ask you people. You know, like, thank God that you're on here tonight. Ask you people, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
Because why people are so poorly is because, I'll be honest, a lot of it is to do with finance. It really is.
No, I absolutely agree with you. There's no getting away from the fact that if you look at a very wealthy area, the people tend to be slimmer and fitter, and then you look at a poorer area, and the opposite is true. There's no question about that.
Yes, I'd agree with that, and that's where we need to change. You know, because we used to have things like Sure Start and Connection, you know, and children's centres which used to offer these things for free or at a very subsidised rate. All of those things have gone now in the poorer areas, and those were kind of a lifeline for someone you know who's struggling financially, because you then could still have the benefits of having the exercise classes and the swimming, but you didn't have the cost.
It's so expensive for children. I've looked at a few things. I mean, you've got your, you know, like through your holidays, through, you know, like to take them swimming or
crazy.
to take them into areas now. It's so
expensive. So you tend to stay at home.
You've got no chance.
Yeah. Have you? Does your doctor provide social prescribing?
Well, there is. I'll be honest. I have got a fantastic doctor.
Ask about social prescribing.
I've not heard about that. No.
Social prescribing. Doctors have it in their behest to be able to prescribe things like going to a gym or going swimming.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and it's paid for through the NHS, but it's a prescription for, like I said, for going swimming. It depends if your doctor does it, but I would ask if your doctor or somebody in the surgery is a social prescriber and ask them to prescribe you once a week swimming.
That's right. Yeah, it's
I've
really
never
good.
Heard, no, I've never. Well, there again. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And maybe if people are listening to it now, if they're in the same position as myself, you know, like they could ask their doctors.
That's right. They prescribe things like going gardening, you know, joining a walking club, or like all of those things. It's a social prescription. So it's a non-medical prescription to help you get fit and keep fit and keep healthy.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, listen, Carol, let me know how it goes. I hope check with your GP.
I will do.
And ask about social prescribing.
Well, I listen to you all the time anyway.
Bless your heart. You're lovely.
Next time I speak to you, I'll be losing weight.
Oh, good girl. Well done. Good for you. Good for you, Carol. Thank you very much indeed. Right, it's time for us to take a quick break, but I've got to read this. It says, "Hi, Petrie. What a wonderful ocelot/jaguar print top. I imagine you're a meat eater." Got to be with a top like that. It's a dress, actually. But anyway, thank you very much indeed. Taking a quick break. Be back in just a second. Hello, a very good morning to you. It's Petrie here with you for the next 15 minutes. So if you've got a question you want to ask about nutrition, then you're going to need to do it quickly. 0344 499 1000. The marvellous Monica Price is in the studio with me. She's a nutritionist and broadcaster. Monica, there's a question here that's come through. It says, my eldest son, who's 24, has been diagnosed with bowel ulcers. He's been advised by his GP to avoid fruit and vegetable, but this is making him feel worse. Is he getting the right advice?
That's a difficult one. Without me understanding, so he's
the
been
whole thing,
I don't like to kind of say, oh yes, do this, because he's been diagnosed by a doctor. So he's been diagnosed with bowel ulcers. Yeah. Now the reason why they've told the doctor said to sort of cut down on the fruit, which is that's what he said. Yes, cut down on fruit and veg. Is because of the fibre. It's because of the movement of the bowel. He probably doesn't want it to go as quickly as perhaps it has been doing, which is usually the case with bowel ulcers. So he's trying to make it so it's not quite as loose. It's a really difficult one, because if he's a fruit and veg eater, that's quite a mainstay out of his diet.
That's quite a lot.
The only thing I can suggest is that he contacts me directly, and I can have a look at properly. You know, I do a food diary, I do a consultation.
How do they get in touch with you?
If you just Google Monica Price, and go on my website, and then there's a contact form there. So it's just Monica Price, monica-price.co.uk. Go onto my website, contact me there, and then I can give you some
get
advice.
more details.
Absolutely, but that's probably just on the.
They just don't want the food to speed through the bowel system.
Need it
they
to
want
be retained,
so that the nutrition they can get nutritional benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening.
So there you go. If you get in touch with Monica directly, that's from somebody called Vicky.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to.
I should look out.
Have a look out for Vicky.
Yes.
Have a look out for Vicky. Right. Let's go back to the phones now. And Diane is in the West Midlands. Diane, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Diane.
How can Monica help you?
I've recently been diagnosed with seriously high cholesterol.
Right.
But apparently I'm a stone underweight, and I don't know how.
I've got a very thin friend of mine with very high cholesterol.
It's very common. It's not. People think
you always think it's somebody who's overweight.
Exactly. You always associate high cholesterol with somebody who's overweight or obese. Yeah. And you're a stone. Hello there. And you're a stone underweight.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Right. And it. Has a doctor sort of advised you about diets and what things to have? And
he's prescribed me some tablets for the cholesterol.
Right.
And just said like a diet of oily fish and like fresh salmon, and I can't afford
That's
crisps.
expensive.
Yeah.
I've never eaten fresh salmon in my life, so I don't even know whether I like it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's an acquired taste, to be fair.
Bless you. Yeah, it is. What you need to do is just again. I think that if you want to, please contact me direct so I can do a food diary and I can understand exactly what you're eating. But what you need to do is definitely introduce the oily fish. That's absolutely right. You need to get on a more of a healthier diet. Sardines, tin sardines, tin mackerel. They're 59 pence. That's a really good way. And don't get them in the tomato sauce. Get them in they're either in olive oil or sunflower oil. Try those. That's really good. I don't know. Would you eat those?
I would, yes. It was just the fact that he said like fresh salmon and I was
No, it does have to be oily fish.
It's amazing though how people assume that you can afford that. I mean, but salmon is so expensive now.
It's expensive steak.
So expensive. So I would go to that. That's perfectly fine. Tin tuna, unfortunately, doesn't have the omega-3, but there's nothing. No, but it's nothing wrong with having tuna. I mean, it's still fish. It's still protein. You've got to cut down on your dairy. Do you have a lot of dairy?
I don't actually know.
No?
I don't.
Okay, so what do you think has caused your high cholesterol?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Is it cakes? We all love a cake.
Oh, I love a cake.
I love a cake.
No, actually, I don't. I'm not very...
What's your diet like? What was your diet like before you
were diagnosed? There must be something.
Right. Basically, I do have probably toast in the morning and then I don't eat till evening.
Right. And do you have crisps or is your diet very carb orientated? Lots of breads?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, when it comes to my evening meal, it's either a hot pot or or a lasagna, or we do chippy. So, I don't.
Nothing wrong with doing a chippy every now and again.
Well, yeah.
But there's obviously something that you've had. Or something that you're having that's caused your cholesterol to go up, because and you've been to a doctor, so unless there's a medical reason for that to happen, it's more likely to be something you've eaten. Has he spoken to you about a medical reason? While is it anything to do with the food? Did he say, or is there some other reason?
No, I had. I went for a different reason, and I took a load of blood tests, and that's how they found out through a blood test.
Yeah.
It would be useful to know what it is that you were eating.
Yeah, it would. We need to establish what you were eating. And do you exercise? Do you go out and walk, even if you don't?
Not really, no.
No, then that will be a contributing factor, I would think. And dependent on your food as well that you're eating. So I think that would you say, and it's lovely because you've come on and you're talking about it to us all. But would you say your diet contains a lot of fat, sugar, and salt?
Oh, on the whole, probably yes.
Yeah, bless you for being honest. That's probably the reason why. So what you need to do is look at your diet and start to introduce healthier things, take out some of those fat, sugar and salt. You still have your cake, and you still have your chippy, but it's the mainstay of your diet has got to be more healthier. That's clearly the reason. So, and it's lovely that you've been honest, and open and talked about it. And I think that's a big thing as well, because you've taken that step to admit it. Yeah. And because you don't want to have diabetes.
Well, though,
yes.
Sorry.
Don't be silly.
It's the stone underweight as well that's...
Yes.
So I'm thinking, if I don't have my chippy or I don't have my pieces, I'm not going to put this weight back on.
It's a really interesting concept. And what you're doing, unfortunately, is you're not eating the right foods. You're actually malnourished. You're actually
eating more
good food. Good food, exactly that. Yeah, eating more good food and eating less of the fat, sugar, and salt. So your body is just. And what's happening is that we spoke about it before. If you don't eat enough, your body will just hang on to what you've eaten, particularly the fats, and it just stores it, and then you just don't
get that survival mode.
Exactly that, and then the body just doesn't crave food. You don't even get hungry, which is not good. So you need to get exactly. That's a very good question, actually. I'll ask you: do you get hungry? Do you ever get hungry?
No,
I knew you were going to say that before you even said said you did.
Right,
yeah. So I would suggest you add some more healthy things to your diet. By all means, contact me. I can help you with that. But it's really important that you listen to your doctor. Do something about it, particularly as you're a stone underweight. So we need to get that.
Yeah.
We need to get that sorted.
Have you got access to getting online?
I have, yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. Good.
If you look for Monica Price, and nutritionist, and then you can contact her, and maybe Monica can help you get a food diary sorted out or a food plan.
That's absolutely fantastic. I kind of understand it a bit more now.
Yeah. Good. Oh, that's lovely. I'm so pleased.
There's a contradiction between being underweight and then being told.
And then thinking, if I was told I was underweight, I'd just want to dive into a box of donuts.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my go-to. There's no danger of me being told I'm underweight, by the way. So I'm fine. Diane, good luck with that.
Good luck.
Good luck. Tristan is in Essex. Good morning, Tristan.
Hello, Petrie. Good morning.
Hi,
hello,
good morning.
Monica.
Good morning.
Hi there. I want to discuss something to serve a warning to your viewers, and I'd like some advice off Monica, please.
All right. What's the warning?
Okay, I've got type 2 diabetes. I've had this now for 20 years. The problem is I woke up about 6 months ago and I was blind in one eye.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the other eye I've got proliferative retinopathy in. And joy of all joys, I've got to have injections into one eye. So that was the thing I wanted.
And that's because of diabetes?
Yes.
It is, totally. So I've been very, very stupid and I've never looked after myself.
Oh, Tristan, I'm so sorry.
No, please, don't be sorry. I've brought it on myself, so I deserve it.
No, you don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it.
Yes, you don't deserve it.
I can't bear that. You don't deserve it. No. What's the question that you have for...
Okay. The question I've got for Monica, please, is I need to lose 6 stone in weight to get down to a healthy weight.
Okay.
Okay, so being type 2 diabetic, I wondered if you could offer a few tips and some advice, please.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to say to you is, do you drink water?
No, I don't.
That's the very first thing I would say to you. Drink water. What do you drink? Do you drink fizzy pop or...?
I do fizzy drinks, yeah.
Do you know, if you just cut down on those, Tristan...
Alone. Cut them out.
Just that's it.
Even the diet ones, they're saying that it still has the same insulin spike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing you could do, if you could just cut out those. Now, may I ask how much of that you drink a day, like a 2-litre bottle? Do you have a 2-litre bottle a day?
No, this is the gospel truth. I have 2 2-litre bottles a day.
Thank you so much for being honest.
I love you.
Yes.
Tristan, honestly, if you just put that down.
Yes.
Yep.
And try and find some herbal tea that's got a bit of sweetness to it.
Just water.
I'm drinking hot water.
Tristan, that's the very first thing I would say to you to do. You've got to reduce that pop. Now you're addicted to that pop, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You're addicted to that fizzy. And I've worked with many people who've had this problem, and it's amazing and well done you for coming on here and talking to us both and realising it. What you're doing to your body is it can be reversed. I'm so sorry about your losing the sight. I mean, that is just horrendous.
Yeah, that's permanent, unfortunately.
But you're an intelligent man. You know that you have to do something. So even if you could just cut down on your fizzy drink, that alone would have a significant impact on your type 2 diabetes, and replace that with water. So when do you first start drinking that fizzy drink?
First thing in the morning till last thing at night.
And so there is an addiction issue there.
And do you have a bottle by the bed?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Well, the good news is that I've worked with people like you, and I can help you. You've got to want to do it, and obviously 6 stone is an awful lot of weight to lose, and we need to do it gradually. But just replace one of those glasses of pop with water. That will alone will have a significant impact. And then introduce more healthy green. You've got to have green in your diet. Do you have green vegetables? Anything green?
Right. Again, I've got to be honest, I live on crisps and fatty meat, so that's just me being totally honest with you.
But you want to change?
Yeah.
then, and may I ask how old you are?
44.
So you're no age.
Loads of
you're
life.
no age. So you need to do something now, and maybe just calling in tonight or this morning is the first step in that right direction. And I really hope it is.
I'm so excited for you, Tristan, actually, because with very, very simple changes, you can really make such a massive difference. So have 1 litre of water, 1 litre of fizzy pop for the first week or two. So don't deprive you. I think deprivation is where we fail.
And an addiction as well. If he's addicted, that's
you need
just
to come
not
off it
work.
slowly. So just replace one of those 2 litre bottles with water. So you can still treat yourself to the fizzy, but then slowly, and with Monica's help, weed that out. But don't try and go cold turkey.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Tristan, have you got means of getting online?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, get in touch with Monica. If you just give her a quick search, Monica Price, the nutritionist, and get in touch with Monica.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good luck, Tristan. I'm genuinely so excited for you. I mean, because that's the thing, isn't it? That many people, when they get to the point, they go, what can I cut out?
Exactly.
What can I do? But when it's so obvious a thing, it's just exciting. Because Tristan could really see some significant weight loss and significant health benefits just by switching out 2 litres of pop a day.
And it's just drink
quickly.
And it's just something we drink. And that's the other
you
thing.
don't even think about it.
That's the problem with the fizzy drinks. You don't realise how damaging they are to you. And both diet and full fat. You just don't realise.
I was prepared to talk to you for hours. Thank you very much indeed.
We've got to go.
That's it from me for this.